All right, folks, we're moments away from getting underway. All right, so I trust everyone who would like to be part of the open mic has already informed Jerry and signed up, I hope. We got a little list going on. Welcome, everyone. This is the first time in 2 months we've had the first Thursday because in January, the first Thursday was New Year's Day. And I know you guys would have happily been here on New Year's Day, but we thought maybe not. So here we are in February, on the verge of spring, on the verge of the year of the horse. And we're delighted to have as our featured readers tonight, Tehmina Khan, who a beloved teacher at both City College and UC, and she's the proud child of immigrant scientists. Many of us are children of immigrants, as am I, but not scientists. That's something special. And I love in her biography when she says, I was it citizenship to octogenarians, translation to school children, and what is it to the and science to preschoolers. Yeah, that's the big trio. And she will be joined this evening with Florencia Milito, whose own family background is from Argentina, and who, I guess, family fled the fascist coup there in 1976. And of course, the Southern Cone had a lot of tumult in those years and continues to have it. And sadly, a lot of parallels to what is happening in this country right now. And hopefully the resistance will take all the forms it needs to take, because there's no choice left to us, quite clearly. So the format tonight, normally each poet reads about 20 minutes. They're going to kind of go back and forth and figure out some organic way of maybe it's a little of a poetic dialogue that will emerge, or what have you. So after they read, we'll have a brief break, and then the open mic will begin. So we are delighted to welcome Tehmina and Florencia. Yeah, let's figure out how to. So you need smaller, like maybe.
Yeah. I think that's easy.
How about a piano stool? Would that work?
Sure. Yeah. We'll sit on the piano stool. Yeah. And if we stand up if we feel like it. Yeah.
And if you want to tickle the ivories, it's always an option.
Okay. And I see that we have water there too. Okay.
No, is that working then?
Are you both going to sit through the
Is there enough space for you to two of you to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
We
we
sit
get
while we
pressure.
read. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
adjust the mic.
Okay,
So
all
let's
right.
push this back
Okay,
a little
thank
bit. And you're just going to sit side by side?
Yeah.
How cozy is that? But we'll try not to block you too much.
By the way, I made brownies. Yeah. They are gluten-free and nut-free and very buttery.
Are they weed-free?
They are wheat-free and weed-free. I know.
So let's see how this height works.
And my
for
kitchen
you.
is gluten-free, so if that's a concern for anybody.
Come on up and sit down so we can
All right.
decide where that mic should be.
All right. And then,
Do we have a couple more cushions, Michael? Well, let's get some cushions.
sure. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Yes.
I think there might be some cushions back at that end, Michael. I think there might be a couple cushions, a blue
Piano.
container, cushions for the seat.
I don't need one.
Well, okay, well, they're coming. Okay. Thank you. Thank tell you. This is such teamwork. Okay, so this will make it a little more comfortable for that duration. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right.
So, let's do kind of like this. I don't know, is this annoying here? Maybe we can go all the way down here. But don't fall off the stage,
And yeah,
right?
won't fall off the stage now.
Promise?
I
Fall off the stage now and get it over with? Is that what?
I didn't put any weed in the brownies,
Mm, and
so
even so, right?
therefore I am likely to not fall off the stage.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
reassuring.
right.
In that case. So this is probably fine, but now you might want to bring the bench up a little bit. Just a bit.
Like that?
Yeah, like
Okay.
that. Okay.
All right. Okay.
I think it's gonna pick you up okay.
All right. And tell me when we're ready. Sit down. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
All right. All right. How is that? Is the sound? Is the mic? No.
It's really not terribly optimal. I think
Okay.
I have this on.
I mean, we can also we can stand up while we read if that's
No,
better.
We're trying to get you into the stream.
All right.
You know.
All right.
so
All right.
Just come up a little bit more to the bench.
Sure.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So leave enough room for you.
Okay.
Sit in here.
All right. And then we
I
move the
think
mic
that
right.
way.
Is that between the both of us? Is that all right?
Let me
Okay.
get back there.
Okay. All right. Sound check. Mic check. All right.
All right. These poetry readings, you know,
Oh, I know.
they're rocket science.
That they are rocket science. Yeah. I'm not a scientist, so therefore I'm not very good at this.
Take it away.
Okay, how's that? Yeah? Okay. All right. Are we live streaming? We are live streaming. Okay, I guess we're ready to go. Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Tehmina Khan, and I am really grateful to be here with so many wonderful people, friends, family, poet comrades. We're all family here, and I also want to acknowledge that we are here on Ramaytush Ohlone land, unceded land, the ancestral homelands of the Ramaytush Ohlone, who are the first peoples of this land, and we are grateful to be here. We acknowledge that we benefit from their caretaking and stewardship of this land, and we commit ourselves to shared struggle and for human dignity. I also want to introduce my dear friend Florencia. Florencia and I are poet comrades and sisters from 16 years ago, something like that. We taught kids translation together, and we've been in random writing groups together. So so it's just really like a real pleasure to be here with you, who came all the way from Davis. So thank you. I also want to I also want to offer gratitude to my parents, who recently passed away, November 24th and 25th. They were married for 62 years and apart for 22 hours, and now together in the eternity. So I'd like to start with a poem. No, it was not. They both died peacefully and at home. It was their time. Yeah. So thanks for asking. So this poem is called At Wool Street. I live on Wool Street in Bernal Heights. Some of you might have seen it. And so it's a poem I think about when I give the land acknowledgement. At Wool Street. The name of this place lies buried below the concrete foundation of my house. No pyramid here, no stone pillar, no tablet engraved in forgotten pictographs. Over shell mounds of memory, a conquest written by conquerors in Spanish and English, invasive languages choking the roots of native words. What voices whisper in the earth beneath my feet? Whose home do I occupy? I, whose name has traveled from a spice continent on the far side of the Pacific. And then this poem is called, well, thank you. This poem is called Nothing. It's kind of a modified ghazal. And I wrote this over 23 years ago? Mm-hmm. This poem's for my husband, Charles, who's back there. Nothing. Rays of sunlight warm ice crystals on a jagged mountain peak. Melt them to drops dripping to the ocean to become nothing. When spring comes, birds return to the desert, drink nectar from ruby cactus blossoms, which give the sand dunes everything. Oh, friend, fill my cup and fill it again. It can never be enough. Let us drink until the sun rises and darkness turns to nothing. Majnun, searching, walks in front of a man at prayer who shouts at him. He replies, I see only Layla. If you love God, how can you see anything? God separates us from a single soul and divides us into many, offers drops of divine compassion to help us find everything. The widowed beekeeper embraces the air where his wife used to sleep. 40 years dispensing honey have brought him here to nothing. Beloved, go. Tehmina is at the cinema waiting for a window to Africa. Find her and search for the doorway to everything and nothing. And this is a kind of a prose text. It's a utopian text. I was on the airplane on a runway leaving Washington, D.C., where my son lives. And on the tail of an airplane, I saw what looked like the Palestinian flag. It was not the Palestinian flag. It was the Emirati flag. But it made me think, what if it was the Palestinian flag? What if we had a Palestinian Airlines? And that's where this comes from. This is called Watermelon Airways. And this is for you, Leslie Simon, watching the live stream. So, peace be upon you, and welcome to Watermelon Airways, where Mediterranean warmth meets Pacific Ocean cool. The time here in Ohlone land is 1:10 p.m., and we thank the Ohlone people for welcoming our aircraft onto their runway. We wish to acknowledge our shared history of colonization, resistance, and, at long last, liberation. And we also acknowledge that liberation is never complete, that revolution must keep on revolutionizing. And so we commit ourselves to the continued struggle for the liberation of all people and all non-human sentient beings. We acknowledge that we are speaking the language of the colonizer, a language that does not come from us and is not part of our heritage. Rather, it was imposed upon us through violence. As we speak this language, we pay reverence to our martyrs who were killed for keeping our languages and stories alive, journalists and storytellers, poets and artists. And we commit to learning and passing along our words, our sounds, our ancient rhythms that live in our bones. We also honor the survivors who put their bodies, hearts, and minds on the line in the work of liberation, and commit to joining you as we all continue in this work. Furthermore, we commit ourselves to listening to the ancestors of this land, the land of our destination, and all the lands in between. At the same time, we acknowledge that this language allows Ohlone to speak to Palestine, and for travelers and guests to speak to each other. As we speak to each other, we will change this language from one of pain and violence to one of shared struggle and solidarity. We create language. Language does not create us. As we fly across Turtle Island, follow along on the interactive map, which will name the lands and peoples on the grounds beneath us. Touch the screen to hear stories and songs, to see artwork, plants, and animals. Know that these lands are rich in beauty, ecological diversity, and human and non-human culture. We commit to respecting our natural and cultural heritage of all the lands we fly over. We commit to walking softly on this earth and tasting her beauty with reverence. At the same time, we acknowledge the harm we are causing by burning fossil fuels to power this aircraft. While we are grateful that it can connect Ohlone land to Palestine, we commit to doing better. Our aircraft engineers are working hard to harness clean technology that is more efficient and less harmful, but we are not there yet. We also commit to flying less and with greater purpose. To our guests who are descendants of our former colonizers, we welcome you, and we encourage you to reach back into your pre-colonial heritage. What are your ancient stories? Who were you before some of your people became thieves, conquistadors, and slave masters? Certainly, you too were harmed by colonization. Certainly, you also need to heal from those times of pain and trauma. We commit ourselves to your liberation too, to our collective liberation. Fasten your seatbelts, friends and comrades. I am Tahira, your captain. My friends call me Tayara, and you are all my friends. The time now is 10 past Zohar, and if you wish to invoke the 4 directions, we are facing due east. If you wish to pray towards Makkah Hurra, the Qibla is 45 degrees to your left. Please pray for our safe and joyful flight. Our global crew hail from Ohlone land, Muskogee land, Cherokee land, Aslan, Kashmir, Guangdong, Vietnam, and of course, Palestine. We are happy to converse with you in any of our languages. We will serve delicious fusion snacks and beverages, including acorn bread with hummus and olives, goat cheese with dates, black tea with Ohlone sage, cold hibiscus infusion, and chocolate from Mexico. Once we take flight, our crew will come around and introduce themselves by name. They will offer toys, games, and books for people of all ages, puppets and puzzles, toy animals, and building blocks. On this flight, we welcome all generations, all genders, all languages, all faith traditions, all abilities, and all ethnicities. We are all skilled in offering care. We are here to help you care for yourselves and your loved ones. Let us know what you need. Blankets, pillows, earplugs, fidgets, or assistance with the restrooms. Elders, we cherish you. Let us know how we can keep you comfortable. Children, we love you and want you to play and have fun. In case of emergency, we keep each other safe. We understand your impulse to place the oxygen mask on your children first, but we urge you to place yours first so you can better assist your loved ones. We are all here to keep each other safe and happy. Watermelon Airways is a worker and passenger cooperative open to all. Our fees are sliding scale based on what you can afford, even as we transition away from the use of currency. Look inside the seat pocket for more information about our practices, including the forms of reparation we offer to our most historically marginalized community members. Here, on Watermelon Airways, we travel on an ethic of love that presupposes that all of us have the right to live freely and well. Our quote of the day is, "Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. You are this universe, and this universe is you," from poet Joy Harjo. We invite you to turn towards your companions next to you and reflect on what this means to you. We are not strangers here. We are each other. So welcome everyone on this flight from Ohlone land to Palestine. May we revel in the journey. May it be a joy. Peace be upon you. Where are we for time? Oh, we're fine? Okay, all right, cool. All right. So this one, let's see. All right, so I'm going to read this one. This is called Standing for Water. I wrote it in 2017. All right. And it's kind of reflecting on, I don't know, where we were in 2017, with the first Trump presidency. Yeah. And here we are again. Anyway, Standing for Water. 1979, and we are there all over again. The 7th grader inside me goes from ambiguous brown girl who has to explain that Indian means being from India to Iranian. To be Muslim is no longer avoiding pork at birthday parties. It now makes me Iranian, someone from Iran. And they say Iran, but don't know what it is, or where India is for that matter, and can anyone find Santa Clara on a map? Our neighborhood is white, black, Mexican, and Filipino, and yet we all try to erase ourselves when together, silence the rhythms of our speech, water down the flavors of our food, hide our pain behind airbrushed masks, and speak up only inside the private sanctuary of our homes. Iran, public enemy number one, makes neighbors fly flags and yellow ribbons in the faces of those who do not belong. Soviet Union, USSR, not enemy, but adversary, worthy of being pronounced correctly. An empire, strong, but wrong, and ugly, not beautiful like America. The nightly news counts the days that American hostages are held by revolutionary students in Iran, students who overthrew the tyrannical Shah, who years later will say, maybe it was a bad idea taking hostages, drunk on the power they held over the superpower. Imam Khomeini is wise, whisper grown-up voices at Indian Muslim dinner parties. But he doesn't smile, I think. Islamic Republic, they say, at last, a just society. Mercy, compassion, from God. America cannot tell them what to do. I get used to hiding in shadows, while flags of the citizenship imposed by my birthplace fly high, smothering the words that connect us to home. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. I leave Santa Clara for Berkeley, where we build shanty towns to protest apartheid, march against United States proxy wars in Central America, organize for a free Palestine, and feel the political become personal. Caffeinated and armed with words, we raise our voices, silencing fear. When I help elderly immigrants prepare for citizenship interviews, I tell them, America is not beautiful, and its power is ugly. But here you are, so be here, and live here, and speak your stories and your language. Keep your grandchildren close, and tell them who you are, who they are. And 2017 is 1979, is Japanese internment, is Chinese exclusion, is Jim Crow segregation, is every treaty broken with First Nations. But 2017 is also sanctuary, 5 centuries of resistance, and all of us standing up for Standing Rock as we stand in the shadows of a settler colony that wants us assimilated or gone. But we walk in our own light. We weave our voices together into a tapestry of colors and textures. We speak a symphony of languages, mathematical equations, stories, prayers, to each other, to the divine, for water, for the water inside all of us. And this poem is about City College. I teach at City College, love City College. I love UC Berkeley too. I get to teach at both places. So as some of you in this room probably know, we've had, all kinds of austerity and cutbacks and, reducing schedules and things like that. And this poem is from is reflecting on the no business as usual exhibit of protest art at City College in December of 2019. So it's called Casualties of a War on Creativity. Necklace of scissors, candles of remembrance, skeleton rising up in the graveyard for the murdered, vigil for the disappeared, printmaking, metal arts, figure drawing, casualties of a war on creativity, green serpent with money bag for a head, fangs ready to pierce, the last screen print from CCSF, 3 of them in a row, a colorful fist raised, schedule of classes shredded into ribbons, lies written in red over the promise of graduation, BS over the slogan, students first, scissors, snip, cut, silence, testimony of immigrant women learning to weld, dreams of city people, working people, longing for words, numbers, stories, skills, dreams deferred, Who's making a profit? Who is the green serpent with fangs pointed at us? From a painting on the wall, Frida and Diego watch what we do. They've been here before. And this is Twice as Hard. This is a poem also from 2017 that I wrote to my son. Okay. Twice as hard. Your grandfather knew in 1963 that he had to work twice as hard as any white man to make it half as far. So he did diligent research that boosted the work of tenured professors, while he raised his family on poverty-level stipends from one postdoctoral fellowship to another. In 1974, he took an industry job to make a stable home for his daughters. Being a brown girl, I knew I had to work 3 times as hard. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to dream. He took me to his lab and showed me liquids in beakers and test tubes and dry ice evaporating into white mist. I was never very good at chemistry. Obama is the son he never had, your grandmother told me when we hoped against history. The man of color who worked twice as hard and became the president, and still, we know, made it half as far. The president, a father of daughters, who said, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. He'd look like you. Your 7-year-old self saw your own face in the face of the president. Your 15-year-old self sees your face in the faces of the dead. And now you face a face of one who worked half as hard and got twice as far. A name that disparages your face, your name, the direction of your prayers, the 4 boxes you check on your ethnic identity forms, the fusion meals, hot and spicy, you cook without recipes. And your bargain is the same as your grandfather's. Work twice as hard, go half as far. His hard work travels with you, in your veins, under your skin. Okay, and then this one brings me to, let's see if I can find it. There we go. Okay. This one brings me to a poem about higher education. So, oops, no, not there, almost there. Come on. Nope. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. A poem about higher education that I wrote when, like the year I started teaching at UC Berkeley. Okay, hi comrades. And the grad students, the postdocs, the grad student workers, and the researchers were on strike. And this poem, and we were also like in a big struggle at City College as well. So my colleague asked me. I was teaching a class called Islam Identity and Culture, and my colleague asked me, "What does the Quran say about education?" So this is an answer to that poem, to that question. It's called Iqra. Hey cousins. In the trenches of a struggle against layoffs and cutbacks to City College, my Presbyterian comrade asks me, "What does the Quran say about education?" "I will get back to you," I say. A week later, I remember, of course, the Quran says Iqra. Iqra, God's first commandment to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to share with all of humankind. Iqra means read. Iqra means recite. Iqra means take in knowledge. Iqra means speak out knowledge. Iqra means learn. Iqra means teach. a sacred command in one word. My dad used to tell me, the prophet said, go as far as China for the sake of education. The university invites us to a small window into infinite wisdom. Peruse the course catalog at Berkeley, and you will find what you are looking for, even if you don't know what that is. Iqra. Go to the libraries. They invite you to read the possibilities imagined in words and numbers. Printed and bound, placed in the stacks, marks on a page hold meaning, cannot be confined. One mark gives rise to another. Sentences, equations, a page, a voice. Iqra. I am a poet raised by scientists who found their passion in the chemistry lab, one substance becoming another. The alchemy of chemistry, the precision of matter, until the university revoked its invitation when they had to feed 3 children. So they left to feed the machines of private industry. Iqra. I am a poet raised by scientists who sought out the magic of matter, one expression of the divine who commands Iqra to all of humankind. Berkeley, 2022. The postdocs, researchers, and grad students are on strike, tired from the day-to-day struggle to pay rent and feed little ones as the price for a window into wisdom. Iqra. I was born on the edge of a university. I've lived my life in the margins of pages in the stacks of institutions of learning, and adulthood at Berkeley, San Francisco State, City College, San Francisco State, again, Berkeley, again, learning and teaching, teaching and learning, reading, reciting, Iqra, as God commands, and we continue to imagine a window to wisdom that will set us free to carry out the sacred quest in peace. Iqra. Okay. Again? I used the half of the time of the second half? Okay. All right. Okay. Florencia, take it away. I've used half. You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
You got your 10 minutes,
Okay.
and then I've got 5. Is that right?
We have 20 more minutes, so whatever you want to apportion it.
Okay. All right. So we got 20 more minutes? Okay. So Florencia, why don't you read for 20 minutes, and then Okay.
Why don't I read a little bit less, and then you can, and then we can, yeah. And
I can end with one poem. So
We can-
okay. All right. I can't. As I tell my students, I can't count.
and that was so.
Okay.
You can hear me well, right? Can you hear me well? Because I don't always project. It feels really good to be here. My family lived in San Francisco for a long time, so it feels good to be back. And I've known Tehmina for so long, and she's always such an inspiration. And these are incredibly dark times, right? For me, I spent part of my childhood in a U.S.-supported military dictatorship, and my family fled that. Then we lived in Venezuela, then we came to the U.S. But listening to you, that's why I want to end with Tehmina, because we need light. We really need light. I will start by reading parts of my. This is a chapbook that weaves the story of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, who was a Mexican poet who was persecuted by the Inquisition. She had the largest library in the Americas. She was a proto-feminist. And this chapbook interweaves her story with my family's story of persecution. So that's Sor Juana, Mexico, 1694. Dear reader, watch the Inquisition on horseback galloping after our poet, who, weighed down by her habits, arrives at an abandoned carnival, seeks refuge in the hall of mirrors, but instead of her reflection sees a headless Hypatia driving her red chariot around and around. Only a thin sheet of glass separates the two, and Sor Juana is dizzied by the spinning. It had been raining for days, that summer like a tantrum, flooding the city, ruining the crops. The people spoke of strange, wide-eyed birds. At dawn, the sky a sliver of apricot, roaming the garden of the convent, her heart fluttering, miedo, miedo, her drenched robes tight against her breast. She sees a fallen fledgling under the purple jacaranda, featherless, translucent, its beak so yellow it seems painted on, its tiny neck broken. She reads her fate in the delicate ink of its veins. They say she beat herself so hard she had to be stopped. The archbishop wanted a penitent, not a corpse. Bluebirds circled around her. I think she missed them, those poems, those words. I think they still came to her, spread-eagled, fierce. I think she talked to herself, conjured imaginary tribunals, set everything on fire. But that was at night. Mornings, she got up, washed her face, said her prayers. I'd like to say she turned the sick into poems, that a faint green halo surrounded her dead. Otherwise, she lived those last years without a morsel of magic, ministering to afflicted nuns, obsessively scrubbing away at the invisible birthmark separating her from them. Of Sor Juana, my mother would say, la quebraron. They broke her. In Spanish, the subject conspicuously absent, more frightening for being implied. Of Sor Juana, my mother would say, la quebraron, the words rolling from her tongue, gently, meticulously, like two silver bullets she's afraid to drop. Of Sor Juana, my mother would say, la quebraron, and that would be that. It is something worse than pain or even death. The consciousness, like pink confetti, flutters off bit by bit, like food for the birds. On the examination table, only the body remains, blotched like a forgotten pear, and the mouth, a ventriloquist, gives everything away. What if she was Penelope, weaving and unweaving? What if, at the end of the day, after washing and nursing her stricken sisters, they still came to her, those villancicos, sonnets, and conceits? What if, to quiet her mind, she copied them at night, tied them in tiny bundles, burned them at dawn? But if she was Penelope, who was her Odysseus? Perhaps she didn't know whom to expect, nor why they tarried so. Quebrar, to break in half, split in two. History wedges itself inside four syllables, la quebraron, and the fit is tight, seamless. How am I doing on time? Does keep going?
You're fine, like 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes. Okay. Okay, I'll read it. California, 2018. And yet, I could have framed this very differently. A resurrection instead of a renunciation, a rising from the ashes, the weight of history less absolute, all-encompassing. Even amidst encroaching darkness, we can never completely know the future. Lately, in this era of mass extinction, I have taken to reminding myself. Every morning, I conjure this crack of unknowing, like a small oval mirror, hold it up like an object of meditation. After a protracted winter, fields of mustard yellow bloom. Forgotten for over 200 years, Sor Juana is rediscovered last century. There's hope in this, I think. Then remember Sonnet 151, sospecha, crueldad disimulada, el alivio que la esperanza da. And I will switch second. I will just read, I'm going to read things that, a poem that is still in progress, or newer poem, but it's about, it's about Palestine. And it was just very difficult to write about everything that we've been witnessing and continue to witness. Transmutation for E. Blood spilled in rivulets seeking the sea too much to bear. You hope the scorched land is beating poppy heart remembers. The little girl and her white bird, forced to walk miles from Beit Hanun in Arabic, Fatima to abstain, to win, Mansour victorious. You hope the land remembers her almond eyes, the birdcage half her wiry frame, a plum beyond her years. If he dies, I die. And the dapper old man with a cobalt blue hat, his house rubble, staring off into the sea. And the emaciated girl lamenting not having hair to brush. An 11-year-old Yakin, the humanitarian influencer. I try to bring a little joy to the other children so they can forget the war. And the journalist who fed the stray cats, and you hope the land remembers, is consciousness as wide as the trunk of a gnarled ancient olive tree, silvery leaves like stars. And do I have I will just read I guess 2 more poems, and then we can okay. Is that gonna be good?
Of course.
I just another time that
I don't either.
are we
I can't
good?
count, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. This is a poem that I wrote during the first Trump presidency, when I was working as an artist in the schools here in San Francisco. And the day after the elections, I felt like I needed to do something with the students. And so I had them write a poem reflecting on their beliefs. And so I wrote a poem too, so that, as an example. Credo. I believe in herds of wild red horses, imagination as counterpoint to suffering, purveyor of empathy. In ritual, when it cracks open into yellow sky, rising from the illusory fog of the quotidian. In Neruda's Book of Questions. I believe forgetting our mortality is hardwired, leads to other kinds of forgetting. History repeating itself renders us myopic, never again a hollow promise or talisman. I believe in the rare gifts of the unconscious, burnt oranges, dips into the sea of the collective, in the basic decency of so many ordinary folk, and the ruthlessness of power. I believe in lost causes and whistleblowers, the lyric, the cobalt blue lotus in my dream, elusive, this persistent compass. And I will end with a very short poem that I wrote many years ago now. I don't know how many years ago, but watching the militarized police against the the anti-ICE protesters, and at the same time also seeing an appointment to the Supreme Court, and sort of I was up at a community of writers and just I guess looking into this moment that we're in, but also I think it's a poem about both the power of words and imagination, and also the limitations of words. Lullaby, and I did it to kind of self-soothe in a way, so it's called Lullaby. Lullaby. Eyes and trees, eyes and trees, and maybe a bee. I know words will not stop their armies or the tortures, and these days I think of little besides. Still I draw imaginary trees, eyes and trees, eyes and trees, and even a bee. Thank you.
I'll read one more that I think follows Florencia. And I want to say thank you, Florencia. Thank you so much. It's just like just a joy to read with you, and really healing. You're one of my favorite people, one of my favorite poets. So, also I want to shout out, thank Eric at Bird and Beckett. I've been coming to this place for as long as you've been here, and actually at the other place, right? So, my kid who's almost 25 grew up in this bookstore, cleaned out all the dinosaur books for 3 years in a row. And I want to thank everybody here. I want to thank the my Poets for the People and Berkeley students and family, and I think some cousins are out there on the live stream. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to read this last poem. This poem is called Trust and Love. I wrote it at a writing retreat with Naomi Shihabnai and Paul Haller at Tassajara.
I love this poem.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I read this poem at my parents' funeral, by the way. So. Trust and love. 1. Trust is a verb, an activity, a choice. To trust in the great mystery, a wisdom, a sky beyond the sky. Ourselves, tiny beings, specks of dust in the grand weavings of the cosmos. Trust in the divine, a purpose. Look for moments of grace in the unspeakable. Become the grace. Love is everywhere and love is everything and everywhere. In the air, water, sky, earth. We need to want it, to seek it, to will it into being, extend ourselves, to all beings. 2. My father knows how to surrender when he prays, and how to pray when he is not praying. At 94, he wills himself to live in this world, even as he prays for the next. My mother recites Ayatul Kursi quickly, from the recesses of a memory deeper than dementia. Forehead tight, she holds my hand and recites. How many times has she recited Ayatul Kursi for me and my sisters when she did not know what else to do? Trust is a verb. We will ourselves to trust. We choose to trust. We bear witness to children screaming, to mothers wailing over beloved corpses, to everyone hungry, thirsty, wasting away. Instant death, slow death, living death. I will myself to trust in a wisdom greater than this moment, in a love I never thought possible. As I witness Bisan al-Auda say, "We're still alive," and MC Abdul rapping in the rubble, and teenagers dancing the dabka outside bombed-out buildings, and Khalid Nabhan kissing his dead granddaughter, calling her the soul of his soul. Rifat al-Arir asking us to make a kite when he's gone, and Heba Abu Nada asking us to speak the story of Gaza. I will myself to trust every day. And most days I fail. In the streets of Beirut, they said, despair is treason. Graffitied on the streets of Beirut, it said, despair is treason. So I trust in the divine and ask for a wisdom. I will myself to love because despair is treason. I will myself to sing the song of myself and others. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Remember, despair is treason. That's a very nice
Yeah.
sentiment to go out with.
Yeah.
So we're going to have like a 5-minute break, 6-minute break, 7-minute break,
Yeah.
kind of negotiable, and then we'll start the list of open mic readers.
And there's gluten-free brownies there.
Yeah.
Gluten-free, nut-free, very buttery. You're the best. I love you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. Listening to your poems. Mm.
me. I don't know. I don't know my house from a hole in the ground. Come on. All right, guys, we're going to get underway in a couple of minutes. Is the mic on? Elizabeth, you hear that? Eric, is the mic on? Huh? Hello, hello? What? No? Yes? Me? About 6'6". What? Oh, wait. No, I'm a power forward for the Warriors. My height ranges from below 5 foot to 7 feet, depending on what I have for breakfast. Yeah. I'm very impressionable fellow. Ooh. Nope, nothing. We'll wait. Okay, so we're all right, great.
Announce that, and then I'll check it. Yeah, it sounds like you're live.
Okay, yeah, it sounds good. All right, guys, we're about to get underway the open mic portion of the evening. Yeah, we're about to begin the open mic portion of the evening. I want to remind people that there is a tip jar here for the featured poets because, it's a little something of encouragement for their stalwart efforts this evening and other evenings. So that's here. Okay, so let's get underway. I'm going to read a trio of short things, and then Jerry will, I guess, do a song and or a poem. So I have a couple of very recent things, and this is entitled, As Every Flamenco Singer and Juke Joint Jammer Knows, the living are just the dead on vacation. Look, the blood is running. It's sprinting, sauntering, skipping, stumbling, polyrhythmically sprawling on street corners where addicts and thieves play chess, play possum, preen and pontificate, spit blood. Yes, the blood is on the move, jumping ship, jumping the curb, an incarnadine cloud like a randy goat, herding its own double into the mire, where clerics and shahs, priests and venture capitalists slit the throats of orphans. Oh, the blood is spelled with a double O, sangre sagrada, and stone-cold killers wear red ties, torrential hemorrhages of impeccable fashion. Genocide is the sparkling gem on a tie clip, a luxury watch exquisitely attuned to the cosmic debacle, the death mask of the reptilian rich on permanent holiday. I think that's connected to the recurrent image of there was some obscene real estate gathering in Saudi Arabia that featured Jared Kushner and Hillary Clinton. I thought, man, these people, it's awesome. It's awesome. This is also hot off the press, called Fight Night at the Supreme Supremacist Court. Oh, and by the way, Joe Louis, who I mentioned here, a lot of you probably know that he was the heavyweight champion of the world from 1937 to 1949. And one of the things he's most known for is his first round knockout of Max Schmeling, who was Hitler's golden boy in the late 30s and a great, the great Aryan Übermensch. And he lost in the first round to Joe Louis to the great rejoicing of people with any sense. In this corner, wearing trunks made from a pink parachute, we have a nuanced thinker, able to dissect, discern, discuss, distinguish, disguise, and delineate with the grace and precision of a crazy mofo, ice-cold, hot potato riverboat gambler who can't swim. In the other corner, we have the periodic table of the elements, two skeletons in love, a barbershop quartet, a funeral oration, and a Palace Monkeys Poets Band rehearsal gone awry. Your referees this evening will be a feline deity from ancient Egypt and a defrocked hepcat on a cross of gold. The ghost of Joe Louis will hover over the proceedings like an avenging angel. And that's also like we depend on the courts for so much, and we've, now we're in the state where we have decent people at various levels of federal, state, and local courts, but the people at the top, we have 6 monsters and 3 other jurors. So I'll conclude with this. It's for I have sinned. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned and sung. I've written many ill-advised, poorly executed poems. I've combined insincerity, hubris, and aesthetic depravity with overindulgence in adult beverages and absurd show-offy hats. I've made light of the blind squirrels pursuing an acorn and the humble seeking God. I smirked while cantering on a stallion that was really a broom. When the ghost of good grammar passed to threaten me with a stick, I pretended to be simple and then slick. May Lorca's hurricane of black doves forgive and forget me. All right, thank you. Jerry Fraz.
Michael does all the work around here. This is the creation of the small. In the night, before the world, all the problems gather into a little ball of confusion. In the massing crises of shattered glass and broken houses, cracked vessels and crumbled towers, all the scribbled colors and desperate clinging, teeming silver fishtails, every unsymmetrical thing not yet figured out. caught in a grinning net of chaos. A worried sleep settles over our heads like a dark blanket. We haven't a prayer. And so it was, when all was lost, that out of this bungled mess, something happened. A feeling was expressed, a word, and all at once there was a reason for everything to exist, and like a smile on the face of a tiny white mite, each thing responded, was glad to be itself. And the little earth, turning ever so slowly to the sound of tinkling glass, became a perfectly clear-cut crystal ball, invisible to all but me. This is the Battle of Backyard. She comes hustling down empty streets in the tattered garments of the night, bearing gifts that come without ribbons, a dream spun out of life, a song of grief, a given sweet release, a voice like rain embracing all my pain, an inward gate that opens into mountains with hands of faith. She'll paint my fortunes. On the face of morning, like a book is written, but the words of wisdom soon fade from the page. It's a sometime highway, a restless bargain, as the dust of freedom blows through your day, and 100 beggars and bitter losers will ask in anger what you're looking for, through thirst and hunger and simple wonder. Your changes wander through an unknown door. It's a backyard battle with a fox's paw, a gift of apples on a treehouse people, a child's kingdom, a child's law, a child's dream, a giant war. So it's old, the flame has come, the game is over, yeah, yesterday is gone. I wake up laughing, look out my window, it's a rainy day, yeah, for all of those highways. And it's a rainy day, yeah, for all of those roads. And in my hand, the magic foxes, their bloody eyes smile like dying Jesus. Hey, you. All right. Now we got a whole bunch of people coming up to read, and so 13, about 13 poets. Lucky number. And so have to kind of beware of the hook. So first off, Yolanda Katz.
Is Yolanda even still here? I'm not sure that she is. She might have.
Okay, Paul Slade.
Let's see where that's going to be. Where are you going to be? You be there. Where's the mic going to be? Put you down a little bit. Okay.
There's a certain irony in this world. I was in Argentina in 1975 and in Brazil and Uruguay when Florencia was there. And that dichotomy between sophisticated culture and education and fascism was something I'll never forget the rest of my life. Anyway, these are some haikus. Haiku poetry, the syllable discipline, Japanese Twitter. Did Fats Domino influence the stage name choice of Chubby Checker? Paranoid about acupuncture, possible victim of voodoo. When you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, get some very good insoles. Smoking in cafes, banned inside. Hot poets, now cold in the rain. Working on the docks. Wood, iron, steel, ropes, winches, bay brine in your blood. Some famous couples. Romeo and Juliet, Dagwood and Blondie. Driving a bus on Market Street, jaywalkers look for the last hurrahs. Bones in the desert, marrows brittle in the sun, are tools for the gods. My shrink said to me, stop autoeroticism, you're not your type. A secret rebel, with a new mattress, I will remove that label. Up the ladder to highest corporate office, Sherpas say, so what? For a good night's sleep, hope no hacker attack on your sleep number bed. A Truffaut movie, cinematic magic, a montage of moments. Zen master wrote their autobiography in invisible ink. Bossa Nova notes, music from the equator, jungle and city. Pandemic comic now performs in a mask as a ventriloquist. Tourist attraction, Winchester Mystery House, a feng shui challenge. Clowns in full costume have difficulty riding an escalator. And Super Bowl 60, money, power, media, and a football game. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah? Okay. First one. Whispers from Wild Winds. Forgiveness is for you and the desired healing, not to condone what happened. In the impermanence of life, there are things that may be left behind, like unearned shame. When a person demands loyalty with no questions, ask them why they want this. Entities who refuse to learn often suffer more, as they may repeat past results. And you are more capable than the ghost in the mirror will allow the nervous system to believe. Inner peace is affected by much, yet its origin waits to bubble outward as a spring beneath. Silence may appear foreign and hostile if every moment from the past has been a loud type of chaos. Surface level beauty fades, for it is in the seed where the magnificence of a single wildflower dwells. As awareness becomes aligned with the truth, vast majorities of paths in life become clear. Seek the energy field you wish for, perhaps while also observing how to become one with said field. I learned from the past to prepare for the future by fully living now. When you realize you are infinite love, this power is yours to use in the time presented to us. This is called The Art of Division. 300,000 years ago, Ethiopia. One species, not separated by much. Not like the myths of 6,000 years ago, who would begin to divide one group from the other. Ceremony, artificially, not real. You know, the divisions they give you, they hand them to you at birth. No one really is the religion they are born into. You are given it by somebody else. No one is the identity. See, that was prescribed to you. Inside is infinite. And that is where we hope the peace can bubble up, because the division keeps circling back and back and back. The immigrant is not the reason you are poor. You have a moment right now to learn what is truth. And it's not on an Instagram reel. And it's not from those from the past who would seek bloodshed for profit. It is just in humanity. But so many lenses we are asked to put on, we don't see that anymore. We see something other, something not worthy. My friend, you are worthy beyond the stars. And that is not negotiable. Maybe with only one entity, the one in the mirror. And then real quick, sorry, Jerry. I host the La Promenade open mic that is the last Saturday of every month. It's this Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. in Outer Richmond. 3 minutes per reader, family-friendly restaurant if you're interested. La Promenade's a great restaurant if you've never been there before. Also help Kim Shuck with the online version of this Monday with a couple awesome features. Thanks, guys.
Marlon Walker.
This is entitled A Daughter's Love. When a daughter's love for her parents comes face to face with the harshness of life, there's no way to describe what it's like. How does one even show up for someone who's experienced that kind of tragedy? Because as they're adjusting to what life has become, life doesn't stop. It keeps happening. When the walls that once held their beautiful voices no longer echo their names, that in itself can not only subject us, but make us vulnerable to pain. But in my eyes, this woman has been the prototypical resemblance of strength. It's almost as if she redefined and built upon all that it meant. When her daughter's love for her parents is built on a solid foundation, we get to see and witness the beauty of one of God's sacred creations. The light of her parents shines through her soul and blesses us to no end. I respect this woman with everything in me. She's not just my teacher, she's my friend. The last one. This is a short one. I'm going to give credence to aunts out there. It's called Your Aunt. Being an aunt at this stage in my life means more than you'll ever know, because I get the privilege of watching you blossom, learn about life, and grow. Your arrival has marked a new beginning where your timing couldn't be more better. I can't wait to see what the future holds as we embrace it all together. If I can't be there every step of the way, I'll be there as much as I can. And every now and then, or as much as you need, I'll be there to hold your hand. I've been a lot of things in life, but this one thing is no longer what I want, because you've given me the privilege and beautiful blessing that comes with being your aunt.
Okay, and is this Renee? Oh, Rocio.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I got it now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
You really speak straight into here, so it kind of plus you
Okay.
just kind of push it down.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. All right. So this poem is a memoir poem. Okay. So this is a memoir poem, Pan Dulce. Patty chooses golden pan dulce, places them in a brown bag to nourish our family. White crumbling sugar conchas. My sister Patty carrying baby Herbert, wrapped in a soft brown wool rebozo, while she chooses pan dulce from una panaderia in Mexico City, holding baby Herbert close. Her tender love of baby Herbert and her love for our family. Pan dulce with hot coffee and milk at our table. Our family all gather around our table next to a painting of Christ at the Last Supper. Thank you. And this is Spaces in Between. Spaces in between, cherry blossoms floating in the wind, sky pastels of blue and green, leaves and sky between cherry blossoms mix. Ellen's gray tabby, clear pond green eyes, sees with zebra resilience in our Poetry for the People class. Thank you. And this is called Black Comma. Wrong grammar, lonely path. Wrong grammar, wrong English written. With my irreverence for grammar, my irreverence for spelling, my poems are enough just as they are. Okay. This is called Compassion Heals. Anna, colleague now deceased, encouraged me to attend Yang Zen play therapy trainings at the Young Center in Los Angeles. Anna gave referrals to immigrants at a park in San Pedro on Saturday mornings. She lent me several of her sampling therapy journals to read at a time when I was an intern and could not afford to purchase these journals. Anna encouraged me to write sampling therapy articles about my clients. You have a responsibility to write about your clients, she said. I have a memory of a Mexican American boy, Alberto, 10 years old, who has survived cancer. At an outpatient clinic in Barrio Logan, San Diego, I asked Alberto to make a drawing of what the experience of surviving cancer had been like for him, as he was artistic and liked to draw. Alberto drew a picture of himself in his hospital bed with his mother coming into the hospital room through a door to visit him. The love that his mother had for him had greatly assisted Alberto with surviving his cancer as a child. I felt deeply moved by this mother's love for Alberto. She brought Alberto to therapy at the outpatient clinic in order to assist him to heal emotionally from his cancer. I understood at that moment as a compassionate witness that I was receiving a spiritual paycheck for my work, although I was paid very little by the agency. My supervisors there seemed to lack a clear understanding of how powerful such innovative modalities as art therapy and sampling therapy were, especially as regards the healing of trauma. I thus hope that with my work, I am fulfilling my spiritual responsibilities in terms of depicting my clients' inner challenges, triumphs, griefs, and joys. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ron Johnson, is it? Yeah, more or less. I had intended to read something more personal, but with my usual technological expertise, I've failed to get it out of my phone. So, from the most recent book, a short travel poem, or medium sized travel poem, there's a bus on its way to the bicentennial in 1976 to try to see how the hell we got into this mess. And this little part of it is a rather quiet part, going from Disneyland up through here and on down through Nevada, through the lands where Wovoka saw the sun die in 1100 and the ghost dance was born. Anyway, yeah, that's the wrong one. There we go. There. It's called Desert Visions. From the imaginary island of California, lying somewhere off the coast of the illusory refuge awaits adventurers. Beyond the coastal fog shimmers haunted El Dorado. Coronado traces the future tracks of the national road. A motley group of voyagers mounts an imitation Conestoga wagon named Amnesia, headed north and east from Disneyland. Retracing the string of missions where Junipero Serra fettered Ohlone slaves on beds of nails, designed to heal their souls. As morning sunlight glitters off receding ocean waves, a garnet sunset in a mirror blinds the traveler's eyes. And Junipero Serra murmurs bloody holy raptures, gold cities on gold hills, grist for God's mill. At Sutter's Mill, the sloughs of exude gold fever, sound of clanking pans upwind. Past where the earthquake split apart the mint and spit gold coins and paved the streets with sheets of fire and billowing smoke. A tiny herd of ragged buffalo wallow under the Golden Gate, ambling past tourist hordes, gaping from the meadow's edge. They anchor hooves against barks of automotive backfires, a visceral memory of slaughter.
As blue stars stretch across infinities of weight into the imaginary night, the amnesia swerves right and sets out to cross America, reversing the earlier routes of scouts anticipating conquests, of eager beggars digging for gold, of priests harvesting fresh souls. The amnesia lumbers east, flush with passengers, flush with hope, and heads into the past, reversing an earlier swath of glory, avarice, and panic. Our wagon master, nicknamed Flash, stops a moment to adjust his pressure on the reins and the timbre of his speech. The California milk run dawdles negotiating tight Sierra turns past whispers floating over haunted Donner Lake, sounds of spirits roaming, hungry, hunting for human flesh on ghost-infested shores. Scrub cactus hills sport scars cut scrambling for gold and silver, standing empty. Twilight campfires flicker on a hidden ridge across the lake and mirror the descending sun. And Reno at dawn lives precariously on the edge of perpetual suicide, the dead game shimmering with light. The rickety amnesia putters past the outskirts of the outskirts, where the country gives way to a desolate interior. Into the sacrificial lands where digger tribes rooted by hand in the stony desert. Scorpions and rattlers slither past, ravaged boomtown carcasses, their cavernous main drags colonized by slot machines. By a single gas pump stands a single decrepit grocery store. Two lard-ass cops sit slurping cherries at the counter. Sly geezers shovel eggs and rotate one-armed bandits and pocket bunches of worthless El Dorado silver dollars. It's a country of ghost towns, swept by howling winds as tumbleweeds scatter across the desert crust. Here Wovoka saw the sun die, surrounded by visions of feathered warriors dancing into exhaustion. A gilded figure flickers through the tinted window, and drones a dream danced around a blood-red sprouting cedar. Crows, expectant, circle, whirlwinds drop dust and stone from the skies. The moon illuminates assorted skulls, and road signs threaten nuclear blasts. The armies of the spirit assemble, wearing bare-toothed necklaces and black-tipped eagle feathers. Below, the dancers dressed like birds begin to pirouette and boldly preen and caw. The dead are alive and walk the earth like clouds, absent misery and death. The living dance all night for 4 successive nights. Their painted emblems, red sun, red moon, red evening star. Their white ghost shirts adorned with painted crows and eagles, the shapes of spirit relatives. When the earth shakes, white invaders, hardly real, grown from wolf carcasses, cease to exist. A wall of fire drives even their shadows away. In the hazy silver sky, the plaintive din of cranes echoes across rocks. And hordes of vultures squawk wildly at the sun. The dancers, ghost shirts felt impervious to bullets, obscured by swirling dust, into frenzied exultation fall into quivering trance. They bathe in the river and go home. A hailstorm obliterates all whites and unbelievers as the faithful scramble toward the spirit mountains, their destination secret as Crazy Horse's grave. Ghost dancers, done with conjuring the past, collapse. The modern pilgrims wave to ghosts of conquerors and skid down a canyon, looking at eternity as the ghosts dance unrehearsed, and without refrain. Thanks.
Okay, Marie Sciano? Sciano. Yeah. Marie Sciano. Yeah, right. You don't have to get up there.
Thank you. I don't have to. Yeah, right. I'm glad I don't have to.
Well, we won't hear you very well. I'll help
Oh,
you,
really?
okay?
Yeah, thank
Because
you.
we kind of need you up there. So let me hold that for you.
Thank you.
Put a hand on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. There you go.
Hi, I'm Sciano on piano. I'm a pianist, and I'm a lover of nature, and with all the stuff that's going on, I've crushed my ice. Okay, I like my ice crushed. That's all I gotta say. This one, single ladybug sightings. I notice in nature because I look for little things. I've seen a ladybug struggling to get out of a store. I saw a ladybug on a wall just staying there by herself. 3 ladybugs I've seen inside a window. And let's see if I get where. Oh, and one on the fence. So I remember these 3 ladybugs that I saw. So that to me gives me a lot of joy in nature. I kind of live for the little things. Here's one about a tree, a shadow that looked as if it was painted on the wall. It was across the street. I was looking in the sun. An image of fall celebrated by the sun captured me the shadow from the tree reflected by the sun looked as if it was painted there. It was really amazing. It struck me. It captured my fancy. I fell in awe of this. It captured my heart. The branches were like painted. This one I wrote because I actually witnessed a tree being dismantled by a chainsaw, which I very much dislike. Here's what I wrote. Ode to the Tree. It was written November 19th, 25. Goodbye, tall tree. You were so pretty to me, but somebody was to disagree, and they took you apart piece by piece, and down you went. The ugly, brutal sound of the chainsaw permeates my mind. It is the sound of destruction, the elimination of beauty. Goodbye, sweet gift of nature, with me for so long. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. That was a spontaneous, I was watching the tree being, terrible. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
Yeah, thank you. Ooh, good nerves up here with heights. Yeah, thank you. I gotta be careful.
Yep.
No more falls.
No.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Good. Lots of practice from uni. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, you like that?
Okay, Mark Cormier.
Yeah, go up. I'll stand up.
Bit. I'll take care of it. There you go.
The river's water long gone. Dad's shoulder secures me. I rock. I am a monkey. I am a barrel of fun. I learned my name early. I seek out a soulful poet. I seek out a best friend. A benevolent elder directs me to cinema. On the perforated celluloid, I see bison storm in from the burbs. I stick my ear to the stick of the theater's floor. The bison's hoods vibrate the dark that stagnates in front of the illuminated screen. The street musician's guitar has no strings, but the musician still pantomimes a song. Their fingers shuffle on the frets as do bugs in a jar. I make more money this way. Your best blouse is your protection. The blades of your face cleave me away. The acoustics I sketch linger, a shimmer of no sound. Your bare shoulder, memorial. I ask for your hand, but over the centuries it has gone missing, along with your arm and the crook of your elbow. Is there hope for my heart? Psychoacoustics, the scream baffled, the figures on the bridge behind you sketch your shadow. Cobbling shoes from the scraps of a coat, the street magician claps out the call of the Quetzal. My language abandons me down by the tracks. I have nothing to say as the train hurtles by. I don't want to seem chatty. I know an abortionist, and I know the way to her house. I scrawl what I know on the stone of the bridge. In the long ago hardened mud, a jut of leftover bones, crushed cups, a smash of tin foil. The river's water long gone. I have a very short one here, and I hope I can get through here without. I haven't been able to do it yet anyway. It's called The Flowers That Bleed. Teacher locks the classroom door. Standard procedure. The assignment, spring flowers. Her students have all just written their names in the upper right-hand corner. The gunman rattles the door. Leave your drawings on your desk. The kids and their teacher huddle together in a far corner for comfort. In retrospect, they should have dispersed. They had all forgotten the lesson, no easy targets. The gunman breaks open the door. The flowers that bloom from his metal-jacketed thorns. The names that never make it back to their desks. The flowers that bleed. The names that never make it back to their desks. First time. All right. And this is lighter, I hope. Back when me was now. Roll reel, the curtain lifts. What once is done. For the sign of that which sighs. Between image and mirage lies an abyss of what? The empty, the seed. For they that squander, for they that encounter this squalor of hollow. There be beings whose names be that. All loam permeates this. Soil is not just dirt. That dew cupped in your palm could salve the choke in your throat. A worm mimics a finger. Your God, I yes will do be. Punish me not. Be in the service of knots. A sequence of letters begins the betrayal. This traitor's trailer lacks a backyard. From the front yard, the white plastic chair floats in the storm. His honey on the list of the missing, but his wallet is safe, soaked in his pants pocket. Dollar, dollar, scream and holler. I wonder why this widower won't cry. His broken windows, no longer his pains. If the sky were more worthy, would it have weight? If God had a pronoun, would they be less? Sometimes a pronoun is more than we need. Sometimes no right word. A grammar corner absconds with a punt, this hunt for a visible valley. I don and doff both. See, velocity has no sound. To hurtle faster, we unchain the mist. To slow the huff of need. To plow the what, the wide, this screed. This scene becomes one. Back when me was now. Finis. Capiche? All right, thank you all.
Okay, and Chris Escobar.
Right. That's me. Yeah.
Good with this?
Yes, mic check, please.
Yes, sir. an imprecise thing.
Yeah, no, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. This is, I do something new every week, and this is something I've never done before. So that's why I'm documenting it for my wife, mostly, because she couldn't be here tonight. So thank you for being part of this. I heard a line that said something like, the ghost unrehearsed, and since I don't know you all, I am a ghost, and I'm unrehearsed. So I am wearing my father's shirt that he's passed about a year and a half ago. And these are the colors I usually wear, and I haven't worn the shirt for a while. This is when you get shirts made in Hawaii. You get to choose the buttons and the fabric, and then the next day you get a shirt. I looked at Jerry's shoes, and I think my dad had an influence on your wingtips, because my dad, even though he would wear shirts like this, he always wore his wingtips. So I just want to throw that out there. I will begin, and I don't have a name for a poem, but this is like the blacks and fuchsias of what I'm thinking. I will name the poem BB 25. Bird and Beckett, February 5th. Am I becoming them and thoughtlessly talk just because fragments of my heart fall off of a life to appeal? Why am I here if I cannot be real? Dungeons imagined and dragons with baggage to hear. Not lighted or delighted above all the fear. Withering but fighting as to why I am here. The man in the arena sits down. Can't you hear? Contemplating, quiet, noisy, violent. Anger justifying justice to see where the lying went. That's it for that one. Thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. And these are little bright colors, maybe. I'll call this one BB25-2. I thought of this once. It made me want to laugh. People sitting courtside, and at once they release a cat. The intuitive ones aren't thinking, reacting, and putting it in. Those are cats! Those are cats! Screamed the thinkers. Scattering cats dance to their chagrin. No whistles blow, just laughing coaches, dropping their playboards and shout, "You thought practice was tough? This is life. This is what it's all about." Some cinching, they're cringing. Both sides start to laugh together. Winds can blow, clouds can rain. Sun can make you feel good. We're all in this together. No matter what the weather. Thank you.
Okie dokie, Scooter.
All right, thank you all. A few words about Tehmina. I took her class back in 2019. She's one of my favorite types of teachers. There's many ways to teach things, but she sort of teaches without teaching. You're being taught, but you sort of don't know you're being taught. But a lot comes out of it from where you start and where you end at the end of the semester. So, to Tehmina.
My class will start in late February if anyone's interested. Closure for people.
Recommended. Okay. One poem. Does a clock dream of time or the liberation of the distance between the hours? Somewhere a train is missing, like leaves in the wind, movement, time, something about silence. Somewhere in the house the cat is asleep. The hours of the night are like waves. The moon is a presence, a witness, a heartbeat, wild horses, words, sad, glorious dream dust, better to take nothing than too much. Facts and memories intertwined, becoming the memory of you. Somewhere a tree falls in the woods. The sound hasn't reached us yet. We are not owed sunlight, glorious words, dust, dream, wild horses. Life in this dark timeline. Bukowski's shoes are untied. Still the drum sings, and a flower named Belief continues to grow. Thank you.
Okay, and Rita.
Hi. So I didn't plan on reading anything, but then I ended up writing something. So it's untitled and a little raw and probably not that good. Yeah, okay. Grief and love are like sun and moon, in divine relation, a shared purpose, illuminating one another between the precious hours of dawn and dusk. They give each other a fleeting kiss in greeting and maybe goodbye. We feel her warm rays on a new day in March, grateful we don't fall prey to early moonfalls anymore. Baked bread from neighbors, cookies from dear friends, and pitiful shared Thai food in rooms warmed by grieving hearts. Grief kisses the soft forehead of a love, saying, I'm ready. Love has stepped back to give power and weight to her absence. The absence begging for love to come with her, rays and life, so easy to feel. But the moon's subtle light inspires waters and helps turtles find their way. Grief, my mother, I invite you to throw me into the water where I allow the waves to lull me to sleep until I wash on a new shore and try to pull on the sun's loose threads. Thank you.
Okay, Walker Brent.
Thanks. I'll just read this very short poem, but I'll tell you, the poem was so different for me, this poem, because I basically just heard the voices of, it was I don't know what the function is, the title, The Brakeman on a Train, and it was a train yard in Tucson, and I heard the voice of the guy at the back of the train who was kind of coordinating the movement with the people at the front of the train, and they were going, you could tell they were guiding the train through an intricate kind of crossroads at the train yard. You might be able to hear the interplay of the voices in this, or it might flow differently, I'm not sure. But basically, I just wrote down what I heard, but I felt it in a certain way so that I could make it writable for me. Anyway, but it's called Train Yard of Tucson. We need 4. I got 10. I got 15. Take what you need. We need 5 more. I'm looking at 10 more. Eastward, keep coming, 10-4. Aye, coming by the light. Or, hey, alrighty, on the coming to a stop. Are you ready-o? Ready, go. Crew is in the clear, ready to go westward on the signal when you get one.
Thanks, Walker. And Kimai. Am I pronouncing it right?
Hi, all. I'll read two today. The first one is called Fe Muerta, and it was inspired by a time when I was in Guatemala City, visiting the only pediatric hospice in the country, and it's a beautiful space held in nature, and it's inspired a dream of mine to build my own hospice in nature. It's called Fe Muerta. Fe que no duda es fe muerta. Miguel de Unamuno. Unidad Nacional de Oncología Pediatra, Ciudad de Guatemala. Hazy fluorescent lights shine on lime green concrete walls. Tell me, why do platelets clump? Why is the sky a flickering white? Tell me, what will it be like when it happens? Will I be able to miss you when I'm gone? Tell me, what was this all for? Cuéntame. Hogar Estuardo Mini, the only pediatric hospice in the country. A young girl, head shaven, rolls out in her wheelchair on a path, cutting through a stream, cutting through the La Selva. When I got here, they asked what colors I wanted to paint my walls. But really, I just wanted to lay on my back and get to know all the colors of the sky. They asked me who I wanted to invite to my goodbye churrasco, but really, I wondered how long I could smile for all the people who love me. So I do what I really want, which is to crawl into the amniotic space under my cobija, with just a crack of light through the side, just by myself. Well, just me and Diosito. And we wait together for the nurse, who said she'll be right back with my medicine, as we listen for death to dissolve into all the wrestling outside. The second poem is called Almshouse, and it's inspired by the place I work at, which was the subject of a book by Victoria Sweet, a local author, called God's Hotel. And I don't speak French, so excuse my pronunciation of God's Hotel in French. Hungry ghosts roam God's nursing home, an unstaffed Hotel Dieu. We are left to ourselves as we tend to one another in our recovery, remembrance, rehab, reparation, respite, and reflection. The word convalesces into flesh and branch as it sings, I need you, and you need me. As it dances from your out-breath into my in-breath, in the one and only true conspiracy. And though the lame may never walk, and the blind may never see, and we may never unbleach the pale dead seas, maybe, may it be, enough for me to sit by your side to stroke your damp forehead amidst your night sweats, for you to change my bedpan without shame, yours or mine, and to ensure that no one dies alone, not even the trees. There is no balm in Gilead. It is here, in this very almshouse of this world, where the suffering never ends, nor the capacity to meet it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Tehmina and Florencia, thank you so much. Oh, one more, of course. By all means.
Thank you.
I'm just struck by the last two poems read, so I'm just kind of like giving 2 seconds of silence for that. It was beautiful. This poem is I've read it once before, and I read it in front of 100 Montgomery, which is the immigration court. They have like a whole program there, many days of the week, to try to stop, kidnappings. And yeah, this one is called La Frontera. La Frontera, the border. The border is not a line on the ground, not the God-given right of the state. The border is tyranny, not manifest destiny. On our bodies, it is drawn and redrawn. It is the edge of a pig's baton, striking over and over and over. The border does not just cross us, it rams a mother against the wall, barrels her to the cold tile ground, takes hold of her child and mutters, adios. Adios? To God? What is this God they worship? It's the same one that packs those Maersk warships. The border is not a line on the ground. It is the not-so-white lie they resound. It assaults us against the scalding asphalt. Fault they cast on us. The border is the circular logic of their handcuffs. It is a perimeter of fear that fuels this prison industrial complex. It's not complicated, it's not complex. Their private prisons profit while our humanity they try to annex. The border is not a line, it is an endless number of checkpoints. The border is the bars of those prison cells. It is the steel wire of their concentration camp cages. The border is the hot metal surface of a police car driving through a crowd of protesters. The border is not a line. It is ICE agents hiding under face gaiters who disappear your cousin in an Alcatraz of alligators. Gloria Anzaldúa said, the border es una herida abierta where the third world grates against the first and bleeds. They try to coagulate our right to migrate, stop the flow and strangulate. May our boiling blood, our rightful rage, melt the ice and open the cage. The capitalists try to throw us into their man-made ditch. Let's be real, the border is colonialism's little bitch. But we are here today to say we are here to stay. And when our neighbors are getting kidnapped, we say, move, pigs, get out the way. When we wield our people power, the border dissolves. Gathered today at Bird and Beckett, we're here to give ICE hell, bring them misery, because we prefer our ice crushed. In Spanish, to melt means to derretir. To defeat is to derrotar. To ice el hielo, we say, te vamos a derretir y te vamos a derrotar. Te vamos a derretir y te vamos a derrotar.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming. Please come back next month. First Thursday of the month, we're here. And Michael has always got some great features going on, so and thank you so much, Tehmina and Florencia. And there's actually some donation here.